Call the Village of Ashwaubenon Public Works and Protection Committee meeting to order for Tuesday, August 13th, 2019. Roll call, please.
Mike Malczewski.
Here.
Joan Euclid.
Here.
Josh Kornhost.
Here.
Bukowski and Williams are excused.
Okay. Customary to recite the pledge. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Nice little echo going there.
Action on the agenda. If we have no changes, additions, deletions, anything like that, I can entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Action on the minutes from the July 23rd, 2019 regular meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Comments from the public. If anyone from the public wishes to comment, you're limited to items not on the agenda. You must state your name and address. You're limited to 5 minutes. The board's role is to listen and not discuss the item. Personnel issues cannot be discussed, and the board is not able to take action at this meeting. Do we have anyone from the general public? Hearing none, we can move on to 7. Action items. 7A, intermunicipal agreement for reciprocal aid, including sharing of equipment and services.
Yes, good evening. What this is in regards to, if you remember, over the past probably 4 or 5 years in public safety, there have been numerous mutual aid agreements that have come through. This one is similar to that in that it's extending over to the public works realm. There's always been handshake agreements, if you will, between all the communities that if something happens, tornado, something of that nature, that everybody would help with equipment if the need would be. In this day and age, with the different submittals that you have to send in for FEMA, should a disaster happen, you need to have agreements in place, not just handshake agreements.
Okay.
So over the past year, the public works directors in the area have been working together and getting an agreement pulled together that kind of puts into writing, should equipment be needed from another community, how the insurances work, if something's damaged, all those types of things, so that there's an agreement in place for borrowing such equipment, and then it takes care of the legalities in terms of submittals should we have to go for aid during or after a storm or a tornado event or something of a major catastrophe. So that's what's before you tonight for review and forwarding to village board. Again, it's taking something that we've done for years with a handshake and memorializing it so that we have everything in place should the need be to submit for aid in the future.
Okay, this is an agreement between other villages and Green Bay?
It's basically everybody's signing the agreement, and then everybody that signs the agreement is part of it. So Green Bay, De Pere, Alloway have signed it so far. We're looking to do so, Howard, Ledgeview. So everybody that signs up, if they would put out a call that if, let's say something happens in Green Bay and they need chippers, they would put a call out, and if we're not using ours, we could provide it. If we're using ours, we don't provide it. It's just giving that ability that whoever signs the agreement would then send a blanket email out asking for assistance should it be needed.
Okay, and this is a standard language between all of them?
Yeah, it's been reviewed by about 7 or 8 municipal attorneys,
Okay.
city and village attorneys, so we're all set.
Okay.
Our liability insurance would cover us when we're in Green Bay doing something, or in Alloway doing something, or would their liability cover us?
Typically, it's covered if we're doing work and then we're invoicing back, if you will, it's covered by ours. The attorneys have reviewed it, and there is, at the time, if there is an emergency, in some of the communities, they have it where their insurances cover you as well.
Well, then I will make a motion to forward this to the village board, recommending approval of the intermunicipal agreement for wow, big words, thanks guys, of intermunicipal agreement for reciprocal aid, including sharing of equipment and services.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the action item 7A, you got me doing it now. Intermunicipal agreement. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries, goes to village board. 7B, action on appeal of denied operator's license, Caitlin L. Rich Falk.
Ms. Rich Falk is in attendance. She recently applied for an operator's license and was denied, and she's here to speak on her behalf, and I believe she brought a manager along with her if you decide to suspend the rules to have interested parties to speak.
Open the floor, or
We have to have a motion.
move to open the floor?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to open the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. State your name and address. Sit down. Use the microphone. This has to go on record.
Caitlin L. Rich Falk, 1763 Patriot Way, De Pere, Wisconsin.
And you were denied through public safety, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And what would you like to tell us?
Well, I've been working for Anduzzi's for a total of 3.5 years or so. I worked there for about 2.5 years, and I left for a little while, worked as a dental assistant, and went back. I make quite a bit of money at Anduzzi's, more so than I did as a full-time dental assistant. I work nights, so I don't have my son in daycare during the day, so that saves me a lot of money. If I am unable to attain my bartender's license, I won't be able to close at Anduzzi's anymore. And I've based all of my finances around what I make at Anduzzi's. And as I said, I had a full-time job, and I was not making ends meet. And now I am by myself. I'm not with my son's father anymore, so I have even more finances to cover by myself. I was denied due to an OWI in March, and I understand that that is a very severe charge, but I have been doing this a while, and my OWI is my first one. And if I can't get my bartender's license, I don't know what I'm gonna do as far as bills go, because what I make at Anduzzi's, I'm not gonna make anywhere else. That's pretty much it. I sent you guys a letter.
What were the circumstances around your OWI?
I did try to find a ride home that night. I did call a friend of mine to come pick me up. His friend brought him to where I was, and he was going to drive me and my car to my house, and I was going to pay for an Uber for him to get an Uber back to his house. At the time, I was in a not healthy relationship, and if I would have went home without my own vehicle, that just wasn't really an option at that time. And instead of him bringing me back to my house, he started driving us to his house. And when we got there, I did not want to be there. I was in an uncomfortable situation, and I left.
Questions?
I would have a question for public safety. So traditionally, how many different licenses are denied in the village each year?
That I can't tell you. I've just taken over the interim position since June, but going back, I'd say 10, and that's just a guess right now.
A year?
Yes.
Okay.
So one of the reasons for a denial, for instance, is something like this, operating while intoxicated, which unfortunately the conviction was just in May.
March.
So the issue of issuing a license with this is a restriction, a violation. This is something that the village does not want at this time, again, for the denial.
Thank you. So my question for you, Caitlin, is I guess more of a statement too, is we're not here to judge the circumstances that led to the OWI and everything like that. We're here to make a determination about the license. And so I appreciate you giving us some information about that. How does your OWI change how you serve alcohol?
I'm definitely a lot more, I guess, I look for, signs of someone being intoxicated a lot more. I know as far as the consequences you're gonna face are definitely not worth it. Obviously, I just went through it. It changes a lot as far as your everything. Car insurance goes up. Everything, literally. Look at the place I'm in right now. But no, I look for more signs, I guess. It is a learning curve that, I learned a lot from it, but I have been bartending for years now, and I've always been a responsible bartender. I don't think that my mistake at all impacts me as an employee or a worker.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Does your employer have a rule against servers not drinking while they're working?
Yes, we're not allowed to drink at Andrews's, so that was not the case.
Okay, so you weren't at work
No.
when this happened. Okay, I want to clarify that.
Well, my position is different. I back the Ashwaubenon decision. I think we made it in this village for a very strong reason. It sends a good message out there into the world, and you'll have to reapply after your year is up. That's the decision.
I'll entertain a motion. Oh, we have to close the floor.
I move to close the floor.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to close the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Floor is closed. Thank you.
Well, I make a motion that we uphold the denial of the operator's license for Caitlin Rich Falk.
I will second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to uphold the denial of the operator's license for Miss Rich Falk. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. 7C, action on appeal of denied operator's license, Kendall L. Moore.
Mr. Moore recently applied for an operator's license and subsequently was denied. He is here to speak on his own behalf.
I move to open the floor for Mr. Moore.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to open the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion
Aye.
carries. Floor is open. State your name and address.
Kendall Moore, 706 Mather Street, Apartment 4, Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Okay, questions?
I feel the same way as I stated before. Our village makes a decision on these issues with the police department backing it up, and I back the denial.
Mr. Chair, do you have any questions?
Tell us about your lifestyle since you committed to the opioid program.
Yeah, so I actually just finished all 4 phases of the Brown County Heroin Court. I've been clean and sober for a year, 7 months, and 3 days. I bartend at Margaritas, and I serve there as well. I go to meetings regularly. I am just becoming a different person and learning from my mistakes. That was a very dark time in my life. Heroin is a devilish drug, and it consumes the entire body, and I'm glad to say that I'm clean and sober, and I regret my mistakes in the past, but that's not indicative of who I am and where I'm going in my life. I've made lots of changes.
Okay.
The only thing I would just say is, and it kind of goes to both of you, is just, unfortunately, there are careers that you unfortunately can't get licenses for. If you have your CDL and you have an offense, you can't drive a truck. In this case, if you have a felony or a violation, you can't get a liquor license to do your job. So that's my stance. I would agree with Joanne. So I would I'll make a motion to close the floor unless there's any other questions.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to close the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Floor is closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to uphold the public safety's decision to deny the operator's license for Kendall Moore.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to uphold the denial of the operator's license for Mr. Moore. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you for appearing. 7D, action on ordinance number 08-2-19, an ordinance amending section 6-2-156 sub A, chapter 6, business.
This is just to add a little bit of language, make it a little clearer for the managed market portion of Chapter 6, reflecting that a market manager, there's at least 2 merchants participating. We've run into a couple occasions where someone wanted to take out a market managed permit, and there was only 1 entity involved. So we just want to reflect the no less than 2 at this time.
Okay. Has our staff attorney looked at this?
Yes.
Okay, that's okay with you? Okay. And what's your pleasure?
I have nothing. I'll make a motion to approve the action on ordinance number 082-19, an ordinance amending section 6-2-156A, chapter 6, businesses.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve ordinance number 08-2-19, ordinance amending section 6-2-156A, chapter 6. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. 7E, action on resolution number R8-2-19, issuance of Class B beer, Class B liquor license, exception to the quota. Mr. Clerk.
As you know, Dave & Buster's will be arriving next year here in Ashwaubenon. And as such, they have since applied for a liquor license, but they won't be in operation until sometime after May of next year. So we offer you a resolution indicating that they will be granted a license, if you will, just by virtue of the size of the establishment. In state statute in 125, if you have a seating of 300 or more, you can get an exception to the quota. So what we wanted to do, put before the committee and ultimately the village board, is to acknowledge that premise size under the exception rule, and if there's still a remaining regular combo, a regular liquor license, they would be provided that one if there's still one available. This way, they have peace of mind before they start knocking down walls that there is a liquor license available to them.
Okay.
In fact, we did this not long ago for the Marriott, about 6 months prior to their opening. So this is a precedent setting.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution N number R8219, issuance of a Class B beer, Class B liquor license to be an exception of the quota.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for resolution number R8-2-19, issuance of Class B beer, Class C liquor license, exception to the quota. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Action item 7F, possible discussion and action on ordinance 081-19 relating to sexting by minors.
Okay, what you have before you is a proposed ordinance that originated from public safety due to some discussions with Investigator Messer on behalf of both himself as well as the school resource officers. We had discussed this proposed ordinance to address more or less serious type of offenses relating to what can basically be termed as sexting, something that doesn't necessarily fall under the more strict criminal offenses under state statute. This is a local ordinance violation that would be more geared towards less serious type offenses in schools, and something that the SROs or investigators can use in appropriate circumstances, so that there still can be some sort of a punishment to juveniles as a result of these types of offenses, but something that's also not as serious as a criminal type of offense. So this is just an additional enforcement tool that would be available to our public safety officers to use in certain situations.
Okay. How does public safety feel about it?
They're in full support of it. We've had discussions regarding it, exchanged drafts of the ordinance with them, and they're in full support.
Okay. Okay.
Go ahead.
I make a motion that we approve the ordinance 0819 relating to sexting by minors.
I'll second that.
We have motion and a second to approve action on ordinance 08-1-19 relating to the sexting of minors. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Items for the next agenda, if you have some, get a hold of Terry, and they can be placed on the agenda. That completes our agenda. I can entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
We stand adjourned.